What's up, Habs fans? We are deep into the offseason, so I figured I'd make a video discussing, what the Habs have done over the offseason, and also predicting the order of every division in the NHL this coming year. Let's see how wrong I am. Let's start with the quote-unquote bad news. Kirby Doc is back. Nobody, I think there isn't a single Habs fan who wanted Kirby Doc back, but it is a one-year contract. It is 5.6 mil. I guess. I mean, I really would have rather they spent that money plus a bit more to find someone else to fill his spot in the lineup, but, I'm going to cheer for him as long as he's wearing the Sayosh. So we'll have to see how that goes. Price is officially a Hall of Famer. Carey Price, obviously, he's going to be represented as a Hab. No one's going to know him as a Shark, obviously, since he didn't play there. But he showed his love for the Habs throughout the entire season last season. And throughout the playoffs, he said in a recent interview that he was even watching during his daughter's ball games, which, focus a little more on your kid, please, Carey. But we definitely appreciate it as fans. The draft happened. We got Gleb, who was already a meme. I hope that he, turns into a superstar here. And, we've already got a very talented Russian player in Demidov. So hopefully, with that, they can get along. And he can be a little more acclimated to living in North America. Unfortunate news as well. Brandon Gallagher is no longer a Hab. We kind of expected it when the team didn't play him for a good amount of the playoffs. And he's a Canuck now. So he's not going to do anything with his team this season. I feel bad for Gally, but it was just time to depart. He'll forever be a Hab in my eyes, and we're going to miss him. Otherwise, Lane Hudson has gotten a contract extension. Now he is getting a lot of money, but this kid is going to be worth it. 8 years, 8.85 per, which isn't the bad part in terms of, expensive, but he does have a $55 million in bonuses throughout his contract. So, I expect him to hit a lot of those, obviously. I didn't really look into what those bonuses were on the contract, but I expect him to hit a lot of them. Just knowing how talented of a player he is, and it's going to be worth every cent. Now, let's get into division standings. I'm going to do the Atlantic last, and these are going to be as unbiased as I can possibly be. Obviously, everybody is going to have a little bit of bias. It's impossible to avoid. You can say you're being unbiased, but it's true. All right, so in the Pacific, we'll start out with them. I actually have the Ducks winning the Pacific. They're a young team, and they're quite exciting, and they're trending upwards so quickly. I think it's going to be a very close race between them and second place, but I think they can do it. I think the Ducks can win the Pacific this year. In second, I have Vegas, a close race with Anaheim. In third, I do have the Oilers. I think they're going to take steps back. I think, the writing is on the wall with McDavid. He's going to go somewhere else soon. I mean, that can rally the team to make one final push before he leaves, but I don't really see that happening. And in fourth place, who I do have taking one of the two wildcard spots, I have the Sharks. The Sharks are going to be terrifying very, very soon, and I think they make that first step into getting into the playoffs this season. In fifth, I have the Flames. They are up and coming as well. Dustin Wolf is absolutely amazing. We're going to have to see what he does. In sixth, I have the Kraken. They're just stuck in limbo at this point. In seventh, I have the Kings, who, let's be honest, that all those overtime losses that pushed you into the playoffs last season, that's not happening again. It's not. They're not going to make the playoffs this coming season. And in last place, I have the Canucks, because they're the Canucks. Hopefully you can actually get the first overall pick this year. In the Central, I do have the Wild winning the Central. It is going to be a very close race with the top 3 teams, and I just think they can do it. Second, I have the Avs, and third, I have the Stars. Obviously, those are the top 3 teams. You have a little bit of a drop going down to Mammoth, and then you just plummet to bad teams. So I do have the Mammoth taking the other wild card spot in the West. Rounding out the Central, I have the Jets, the Preds, the Blackhawks, and the Blues. Honestly, these 4 teams can just be rearranged. I think teams like the Hawks are going to improve, and teams like the Preds and the Blues are falling. The Jets are just so hard to gauge. They're either, competing for a President's Trophy, or they're just terrible. There's no in-between with this team, and that's where I put them. But, they got to balance out, right? Anyway, moving on to the East. In the Metro, I obviously have the Hurricanes winning the Metro. They just won the Stanley Cup. They won their division. They're going to win it again. And second, I have the Flyers, another young and up-and-coming team. Third place, I have the Islanders. I think Matthew Schaefer is really going to push them to the next level this season. In fourth place, I have the Penguins. And by the way, both of my wildcard spots are going to the Atlantic. They should not be surprised. So after the Islanders, these teams are going to miss the playoffs. Fourth place, I have the Penguins. Fifth place, I have the Capitals. Both of them, older cores at this point, just trying to make final runs with Crosby and Ovechkin. I don't think either of them are going to make it to the playoffs just because, the top teams in the Metro are a step above them, and there's just no way a Metro team is getting a wild card spot this year. Sixth place, I have the Blue Jackets. I really don't know how to gauge them this season. They could be really good. They could be actually one of the top 3 teams in the Metro, but I just don't see it. There's too much, drama going on in that organization, kind of like what happened to the Canucks before they collapsed. So we'll have to see what happens with that. Seventh, I have the Devils, and then eighth place, I have the Rangers. Just 2 teams that they might as well be tanking at this point. Finally, we have the Atlantic, and I hate to say this, I have the Panthers winning the Atlantic. You brought in Brady Tkachuk. There's still a bit of a question mark at goal. That team is just too good to miss the playoffs again, and they're going to be in first. Second place, I do have my Habs. The only reason I have them over other teams is I think other teams kind of lost a little bit too much, while the Habs didn't really lose a lot, and that should push them to the next level. The top 3 teams of the Atlantic were a really close race last season. So I do have the Habs as long as we get consistent goaltending, and as well, we don't have these streaks where you have one bad game and that turns into 5-6 losses in a row. That really prevented the Habs from actually winning the Atlantic last season. And hopefully they can fix that. Third place, I have the Sabres. The only reason I have them below the Habs and the Panthers is how much turnover there was on Buffalo. I expect them to be a really good team yet again. I just don't know how these new pieces are going to do in Buffalo. Fourth place and the wild card spot, I have Tampa. They're always just going to be there. They're inevitable. Fifth place, I hate to say it, I have the Leafs. Bobrovsky should be pretty good for them. They'll get consistent goaltending. There's just too much talent on that roster for them to completely miss the playoffs again. So I have the Leafs, and then at the cutoff, I have Boston. They should be competing hard with the Leafs for that final wild card spot. Excuse me. Seventh, I have Detroit. What even is Detroit at this point? How's their plan ain't working? I don't know what their plan is at this point. Probably to truly tear it all down and rebuild again. So, yeah, they're going to suck. And then Ottawa. Now, I know a lot of people think that Ottawa can still make the playoffs. Maybe. But I think just the loss of Brady and all of that turnover, it's going to cause a team that's not ready to play for each other. And I have them at the bottom of the Atlantic for that. But I'm probably going to be very wrong. We'll see. So that's about all for this video. I will make a video predicting the NFL standings That should be out pretty soon. Other than that, blessed to be. Go Habs, go.